So we got Awkwafina. Awkwafina is back in the news. Awkwafina vows to always listen. Then she quit Twitter after all that Blaccent criticism. In case you didn't know what was going on, Awkwafina has been getting a lot of criticism for a number of years, actually, because for many of you that don't know, she got her start doing hip hop, music and stuff, and she would get on the scene and do a Blaccent, type of thing. Now, if you don't know what Blaccent is, a Blaccent is speaking in a way that mimics or mocks Black vernacular by a person who is not Black. So another way you can define it is it's a term describing the fake accent racist and cultural appropriators use when they mimic Black people. Black people have accents, but we don't all have the same one. And yet somehow those two groups, racist and cultural appropriators, always use the same accent when they imitate Black people.
Yeah, she's like trying to play a game of chicken with me, where she's like coming at me and like thinking I'm gonna swerve like a chicken.
But you can't swerve.
I'm not gonna swerve, not for her.
Gonna roll up to that way and you gonna be like, "Bok bok, bitch. Bok bok, bitch."
People. So let me give you an example. Remember back in the 70s, like if you was watching the Jeffersons or just one of those Black Good Times or something like that, and a white person would try to talk like a Black person, and they would be like, "Hey, you jive turkey, I don't want no slack. Give me a 5 on the flip side." Like they were not trying to talk Black, they were trying to mimic a caricature of Black people, right? And that is the problem with when it comes to Awkwafina. Now, I was under the impression, because I wasn't checking for Awkwafina, I didn't even know about her until Shang-Chi and Crazy Rich Asians and stuff. I didn't know much about her, but I had heard her doing her little slang talk, ebonic, talk or whatever. And I thought, well, she grew up in New York or whatever. That's the way she talked. Maybe she just grew up by Black folks and that's how she talked. I don't have a problem with that. And I would say there is nothing wrong with that, right? This is kind of like the Eminem situation. Eminem grew up in Detroit around a lot of Black folks. He had a lot of Black friends. He talked the way he talked. But here's the key difference between Eminem and Awkwafina. Awkwafina doesn't talk like that all the time. That is not her native way of speaking. And this is where the problem lies with her. The issue is she will turn on the Blaccent when it suits her and when it's time to make money. So you gotta play a role where you're the cool hit person, turn on the Blaccent. You gotta make a hit music song, turn on the Blaccent. But when you in like another movie, with other Asians and stuff, we don't hear that. So what does that mean? That's appropriation in a negative sense, right? Because now you're taking what you think Black culture sounds like. You figured out this is how Black people talk, so I'm going to talk like that. And I'm only going to use it when it suits me. I'm only going to use it when it benefits me. I'm only going to use it when I can monetize from it, whether it's actual financial gain or street cred or whatever. That's the problem. When you think that you can use a caricature, and I'm not even saying she's doing it like intentionally, she's probably doing it unintentionally. But this is why you need to learn when people give you that criticism, right? And the problem is she will turn this on and off, almost like putting on a different side, set of clothes. Let's flip this for a second. Let's flip this, right? Because some people don't understand the difference between cultural appropriation and paying homage, right? Because it's not a situation where, again, she was born like this and she talked like this. That would be different, and I would say that would be okay. That's not what she's doing. It'd be another thing if, for whatever reason, she was just saying, man, I love Black culture, I'm trying to pay homage to it. Well, if you were trying to pay homage to it, you wouldn't need to change your voice to do that. So there's that. Let's flip the thing. Let's look at the Wu-Tang Clan, right? The Wu-Tang Clan. When you look at Wu-Tang, they will do certain things, especially RZA, they will do certain things that pay homage to Asian culture, right? They will dress up in the garb. They will shoot movies in certain, Asian kung fu styles. They will do things to honor and show respect to the Asian culture. But you ain't never see them go out their way, changing their voice to mimic Asian culture, right? That's the difference. Now the appropriation. I mean, imagine if Wu-Tang came out and every time, or let's just say a black actor came out, and whenever they got in, Crazy Asians Part 2, they just start, and I'm not even gonna do it because it's just disrespectful to do it. They put on an Asian voice and they put on a mocking Asian voice, but that's not the way they talk. That would be just as bad. So Awkwafina, like in this situation, I'm sorry, ma'am, you can't just put on black culture whenever you want to. This is just like when Miley Cyrus, again, culture vulture, appropriation. When Miley Cyrus wanted to be edgy, started twerking. I don't know what she thought she was twerking, wasn't nothing back there. But she was twerking, and all of a sudden, people were like, "Oh my God, this is so good. This is so great." Even though black women been twerking since forever. But then when black women go do the twerk, then it's like, "Oh, that's not professional. Oh, that's bad." And then guess what? Miss Miley Cyrus can turn it on and off. When that hip hop, bad, edgy, mockery doesn't work anymore, doesn't sell them records no more, she can go throw on a little flannel, put on a cowboy hat, and be just fine. That's the cultural appropriation. Justin Bieber. Y'all thought he was all cool because he was Usher's little protege? Nah, he knew when to turn that on and off too. Justin Bieber stopped being all blackety black right when it was like not that convenient. When he had to fix his life, all of a sudden, he was Mr. Clean Cut white guy. That's why this is a problem. And I'm glad that she's getting this criticism. It's sad that it had to push her off of Twitter, because to me, I'm just like, ma'am, you should just own up to your issues. I have a clip of when she was actually asked this question, and this is what she had to say. This was during the Shang-Chi interview. Somebody caught her. She was out here looking like a deer in headlights. Here's what she said when it was a sister that asked her about your Blaccent and so on and so forth. Here's what Awkwafina had to say.
I'm open to the conversation. I think it, it really is something that I think is a little bit multifaceted and layered. And so, yeah.
That's it? Oh, okay. Sorry. That was it. Yeah. Yeah. Did she sound like she was talking black in that interview to you? Could you hear an accent there? I didn't. You open to the conversation, and that's great. But you quit Twitter. How open are you if you quit Twitter? Now, I don't know. Maybe people were harassing her or something like that. Maybe they was blowing up her DMs. I don't know. But hopefully, and I hate the fact that this is happening to another person of color, but at the same time, don't do the crime. Like Justin Bieber needs to get called out. Ashley, Miley Cyrus needs to be called out. All these people that try to act black or use a Blaccent when it's appropriate, when they feel like it, that's a problem. They should be called out for these things. So I have no problem with the fact. I told y'all this before. If this was naturally how she talked, she don't deserve none of this. But if she could turn it on and off, I don't even care if it's unconscious. Somebody needs to wake you up to the problem with doing that, because it's not cool. You wouldn't like it if somebody turned on the Asian accent, whatever offensively sounding thing that is. just to make money off of that. That would be ridiculous. So if you could think of being offended when a non-Asian person can go put on an Asian accent, the same applies for black folks too. All right, let me get to some of these comments. And y'all please be free, feel free to let me know how you feel on the situation. See, Mr. Bobby Wright, what you got? What the Asian water girl was doing was basically blackface essentially. Yes. Yes. It's blackface with a voice. That's all it is. That perfectly said. Thank you. Go perfect point. That's it. AJ, what you got? She's still on Twitter. She has an apology explanation up there. Oh, okay. I thought she quit. Okay. Well, you know what? Oh, I think I saw that. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. We got a little bit more clarification. Let me read what she posted because she does have some follow-ups as well. Let's see. There is a socio-political context to everything, especially historical context of the African American community in this country. It is a group that is disproportionately affected by institutionalized policies and law enforcement policies, all the while having historically and routinely seen their culture stolen, exploited, and appropriated by the dominant culture for monetary gain without acknowledgement nor respect for where those roots come from, the pioneers of its beginnings, and the artists that perfected the mastered craft. Okay. It is a problem we still see today, though some may pass it off as a convoluted mixture of the internet TikTok slang generation that liberally uses I forget what that, it's like African American voice something, to add that hip hop, a genre of music that is ubiquitous and beloved across the country, has now anchored itself as a mainstream genre in music history and in life, linguistic, immigrant acculturation, and the inevitable passage of globalized internet slang all play a factor in the fine line between offense and pop culture. She ain't write this. You did not. What PR person had you have write this? But as a non-black person of color, I stand by the fact that I will always listen and work tirelessly to understand the history and context of Av, what is deemed appropriate or backwards towards the progress of any and every marginalized group. But I must emphasize, to mock, belittle, or to be unkind in any way possible at the expense of others is simply not my nature. It never has, and it never was. My immigrant background allowed me to carve an American identity off the movies and TV shows I watched. Ooh, wait a minute now. The children I went to public school with and my undying love and respect for hip hop, I think as a group, Asian Americans are still trying to figure out what that journey means for them, what is correct, and where they don't belong. And though I'm still learning and doing doing that personal work, I know for sure that I want to spend the rest of my career doing nothing but uplifting our communities. We do this first by failing, learning, acknowledging, hearing, and empathizing. And I will continue tirelessly to do that. Y'all help me out. Did y'all hear an apology and all of that? I know I read a whole bunch of stuff, but I didn't hear an apology in any of that. I heard a lot of excuses, but I didn't hear nothing of I'm sorry for switching that accent on and off when it profited and monetized. Like you said, you trying to learn. What did you learn? You wrote this whole long soliloquy out there, this whole long thing, and I didn't hear not one thing of like, hey, I didn't know what I was doing was wrong, but I'm sorry. You know, like I'll do better next time. That was a whole lot of just talking with no words coming out. Just that. What was that? What was that, Mr. Bobby Wright? That was a great politician speech from Nora. Yeah, that's it. I don't know who the hell wrote that for. Because not apology, accountability, right? Any of that? You couldn't. Not one time could you have said like, it has been brought to my attention that I have violated a cultural mistake and appropriating this accent that I didn't even think was offensive. I have been taught and I learned better. I know that what I did was wrong. I'm definitely going to do the right thing to make sure I don't do it in the future. I apologize to anyone that I've offended. Throw it out. Done. Why is this so hard for people? Why is it so hard? Just say you're sorry. You'll do better. That's it. What are these PR people doing for these people? Man, between her and Joss Whedon, I'm like, what are y'all doing? Either shut up, or just say, I'm sorry, I'll do better next time. I learned my lesson. I didn't know, and it happens to everybody, but like doing all this extra talking, this ain't in my nature. Well, I couldn't tell. It's certainly in your bank account. I don't know. You ain't said nothing, like even when it was brought to your attention. All right, Nora has some more to say. Let me see what she says. She did have some more. She says, well, I'll see you in a few years, Twitter, per my therapist. That's good for her. To my fans, thank you for continuing to love and support someone who wishes they could be a better person for you. I apologize if I ever fell short in anything I did. You're always in my heart. Okay. I guess it was that's kind of an apology. If I ever fell short, like what kind of general you just like if I ever fell short, man, I apologize for using the Blaccent. What is so hard? What is so hard? To clarify, I'm retiring from the ingrown toenail that is Twitter, not retiring from anything else, even if I wanted to, and I didn't drunkenly hit someone with a shoehorn and now escaping as a fugitive. Also, am available on all other socials that don't tell you to kill yourself. Okay, so I guess people were kind of like getting on her. Twitter, first of all, Twitter is a bad place. Like Twitter is full of people that are just weird. Not y'all though, not y'all. But Twitter is definitely a it can get ugly. I can say that. Twitter can get ugly for no reason. I don't know why, but it is what it is. But let's see. Did I get that one? Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not buying this. This was kind of weak sauce to me. I do hope that she does get help. I really do. I hope that she does learn. I hope that she can just have the courage to simply say sorry for using Blaccent. Didn't mean to, but it doesn't matter because it was still offensive. Because I profited off of this whenever it suited me, and just move on. I'm getting the help. I'm going to be fine. Anyway, that's my thoughts on the Awkwafina situation. She done quit Twitter. I don't care. Good for her. I hope she actually learns. And I hope that she actually starts to talk the way she normally talks. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for watching. This was just a segment of one of my live chats, and if you're interested in joining in on the next one, be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications for more. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.